All right, so here we go. We're starting the broadcast. Welcome to another Florida Blood Bowl AMA. Ask Me Anything. This is number 9, and we're here tonight with Jason from Jacksonville, Jason York.
Good evening.
Oh, I gotta stop. I can hear the thing coming through on the other end. Oops. And we got Ryan from over in Tampa, and we are waiting on Liam from Orlando, but
He just messaged. He said he's logging in now.
okay, so we'll expect him any minute. And this is James from over in the Melbourne Vieira area. So it's been a while since we had one of these, since August, like right before Chaos Cup, I think we did one.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. And when I noticed that, I was looking at the events on the Florida Blood Bowl page, and I was actually putting the rules together with Jim Lanier, Old Man Monkey, for the upcoming Road to the Three Kingdoms Challenge, and I happened to just be looking at all the events, and I'm like, whoa, we haven't done an AMA in a while. So everyone was kind of available tonight, and it all just kind of came together pretty quick, as usual.
I think this is one of the first ones we've done on the weekend.
Yes, I think it is. Usually it's like a Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday night? Something like that?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, really quick, kind of, seeing as how it has been a while, we did have Chaos Cup, and we had a huge Florida contingent, not as big as the Virginia crew who went, but probably the second biggest crew. Well, actually, maybe aside from Chicago as well, because that's their hometown. But as far as traveling people go, I think Florida had the second highest turnout. I think we had, 8 or 9 people?
Sounds about right.
I think you guys had more than that.
Well, let's see. We had me, Pat Wynn, who flew up. Magnus flew up. That's 3. Then we had Chris Nelson. We had Eric Nyberger, Josh Wojcik, John Alberto, Cody Drake. Am I missing somebody?
I thought there was...
Yeah, Jason Carter.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had 9, which is great, and everybody did pretty well. Especially, Friday night we had a sevens event run by Mark Perry from Vegas, and Florida came in top 3. First, second, and third place. John Alberto took first. I think Cody might have came in second, maybe Magnus third. I don't know, something like that. But we think we took the first 3 spots. And then Saturday and Sunday was Chaos Cup. We did, as a group, I think really well. Eric was on close to top. He was in the top tables, like maybe I think table 5 at one point. Me personally, I went as well as I did at a Moracle Cup, which I was kind of hoping to avoid. I was kind of hoping to do one better. I went 2 and 4. I ended up having to play one of our Florida guys too. I played John in round 4, which sucked because 4 rounds in one day of standard 11s is a long ass day. And when I drew him in the 4th round, I'm like, oh God. 1, I don't want to play John. 2, I don't want to play against Griff Overwald. Griff's a dick.
He's amazing.
He is amazing.
He's our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, he's good. And then I was tired by that point, so I was just kind of, playing John. But anyway, it was great. It was a great experience. Everyone who went from Florida had a great time. Everybody had a lot of fun. Had a lot of good food, played a lot of fun Blood Bowl, met some new people, got to say hi to people who I've never met before. Overall, it was everything that I'd hoped it would be. As always, Katie and Mike run a great tournament, and the big kind of news from that is that I think this is their last Chaos Cup. They're kind of passing the torch on to Jeff, who's Jeffro on the NAF, Jeff Gallenbach. He's going to be running it next year.
Yeah, I had heard on Both Down. They had talked about that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad that we all, and I made it to this one. Makes me happy.
So, we all love the Blood Bowl chatter and everything, but how was the we'll call it the extracurricular events at Chaos Cup?
Well, mine differed a little bit from everybody else's because
just give us a general summary.
General summary. Friday night we did sevens, and there really wasn't much because they were just coming in. Some of them had naps, some of them didn't. So by the time we played sevens and it was already after 11 o'clock, I think everybody. Actually, no, I don't think. We all ended up back in somebody's room. I forget who, and there was some beer, but I don't think it was as eventful as Saturday. Saturday was a long ass day, so everybody was kind of blowing off steam afterwards. People were drinking on and off throughout the day, but I know quite a few people tied a good one on Saturday night. I went out to dinner with a few people, Steve from the Both Down podcast, Patrick Wynn, Grant from Canada, Craig, a few other guys. I knew Beer Dave ended up joining us later on, and we had some drinks, we had some shots, and I was a bit tipsy, which was fun. But yeah, Eric, I think, probably made the most impression. The room smells like ass, and he is a meat popsicle. That was the famous quote from Chaos Cup that Saturday night. Yeah, Eric is something else, but in a good way. So he represented Florida hard. And apparently everybody finally caught wind of the Moose Knuckle guys from I think they're up in Michigan. And they're a crazy bunch from what I've observed and what I've heard. Their reputation precedes them. They're hardcore. So yeah, Chaos Cup was great. Had a great time. It's off my bucket list. So I would love to go next year. Odds are I'm probably not going to go because there's just so many other events. I promised Mark Perry that I would go out to Sin City Bowl, and that's going to be in June. So that's definitely one of my away trips for next year. Still trying to figure out the other one. There's so many to choose from. There's so many great events out there to choose from. I would love to do Oklahoma and Spiky weekend and still do the RV trip, but it's too close to the Three Kingdoms Challenge. Oh, that'll be the other one. Even though it's in our home state in Tampa in March, it'll be the Three Kingdoms Challenge, which is a 2-day event in Tampa.
So sounds like it was a good trip. Sounds like Florida made a good impression.
They made an impact for sure. I don't know if the impression was good or bad, but they definitely made their presence felt.
I'm just glad that I don't want to get deep into what I'm going to put in quotations as the controversy, but at least they know we can play and we come to play. We play. We play Blood Bowl. We don't mess around.
No, there was no doubt about that. Yeah, no, we definitely came to play. It was good. I had a great time. So after Chaos Cup, what did we have as far as Florida goes? We finally had the Diabolical Pitch Sanguinator that was delayed. The pitches ended up coming in late, and Jason wanted to push off the event, so we had it in the beginning of October. Was there anything else after Chaos Cup in September?
Liam's event, the
Pirates of Knuckle. Yeah, that I really wanted to attend, that I had a work trip. I couldn't do it, and I'm kind of bummed because that pitch that Gary did, Gary Radziak, for those of you who don't know, does a lot of artwork for Blood Bowl for a lot of tournament organizers, and Liam paid him to design a pirate-based ship for his Street Bowl event with Street Bowl, right?
Yes.
And it looked amazing. And I had my team all ready to go for it, and I couldn't end up playing. But at least I got the swag.
It was a great tournament. And Josh really did a great job of stepping up when Liam had to leave early because he had family in town and they got their times mixed up. So
that's right, yep.
Josh also did a great job stepping in and helping out.
Shout out to Josh then. That's awesome.
Who ended up winning that event? I forget.
Was that Eric? I think it was Eric.
I think you're right. That sounds about right. So yeah, the Pirates of Knuckle was in September. Jason's Crazy Charlie Diabolical Pitch Sanguinator event was the beginning of October.
And then the next week was Crucible.
Oh, I'm sitting here in my brain. Apparently after 9 o'clock it just goes duh. But yeah, Crucible. Let's talk about that. That was huge. That was a huge Blood Bowl weekend. In Blood Bowl in general, in Florida. So we did Crucible last year. Ryan, you ran the first Street Brawl tournament.
That was my first ever tournament run. and it was not meant to be run at Crucible. But last year we had the hurricane come through on pretty much the weekend that my tournament was supposed to be. So I don't know if you reached. I'm pretty sure you reached out to me and basically said like, "Why don't you just move it to Crucible?" Because we were gonna run an event at Crucible. We just didn't know what we were gonna do. And I'm like, "Why don't I just shift my tournament?" And you're like, "I think we should shift your tournament." I'm like, yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. So that's what I ended up running last year, and I ended up doing it again this year. So it was another good street ball event. This year, just like last year, no real variance. As people who know me from the show, if you listen, I'm not a huge person on theming my events out. I like to play pretty basic rules. Like, we're gonna play street, let's play street. I don't put a lot of fancy doodads into it. I like playing kind of straight. So that's my thing. So we did that. We did that again this year. So I think we have a Liam.
Yes, we do.
We have a Liam. Hey, Liam finally makes it. Only took 9.
It took 9 AMAs, well, but we got.
And in all fairness to Liam, we finally did one on a weekend where he's not working.
Yes,
that is true.
I do appreciate that.
Liam, how goes it?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Hopefully the sound's not too bad. Like I said, I've had to use my phone because this old excuse of a laptop is not working too well.
Oh, yeah, I have your laptop. I'm actually going to be out in Orlando on Wednesday night, so if you want me to stop by your work and drop it off.
Oh, yeah, that would be great. If you want to do that, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I got to run some errands out there, so I will be out your way, so I will swing by and meet up with you.
Perfect, thank you.
So tell us about your Pirates of Nuffle. We were talking about it a little bit, but, let's get it right from the TO's mouth. Tell us a little bit.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a weird one from my standpoint. Obviously, with my family coming over last minute, surprised me. Obviously, not being able to run it fully was not ideal, but it was nice seeing the family up, sort of thing. But no, it was good. I was really happy with how the pitches and stuff came out. I think it was probably my favorite pitch I've seen yet, and I'm probably a little bit biased saying that, but
no, you're not. It's amazing.
I was really happy that it came out.
It's really good.
Yeah, no, the feedback I got from it was nothing but great. So it was awesome to see that. Like, I had that like an idea of it in my head, and Gary just did such an awesome job of bringing it to life. Because I was literally scribbling down stick people on a sheet, and then he brought it to life. So it was awesome seeing that. But no, it was great. I mean, seeing that many players, I was expecting like maybe 10, 12 players. I think we had 16 in total in the end. And it was awesome having that big of a turnout, and I think everybody enjoyed it. Didn't see stunty teams doing as well as they did. Like when I made the rule set, I thought we'd see a pretty wide spread of teams. I think Goblins kind of came in and were a bit of a surprise upset for people at the end, which was quite interesting to see.
Yeah, I think Goblins came in second overall.
Yeah.
Because Sly was the one who piloted the Goblins.
Yeah, I think it was, I mean, when I was writing the rules, I didn't think of this, but I mean, it was all valid, was with the Chainsaw and the Fanatic not following block rules as such, the curse wouldn't affect them at all. And I think that kind of got put to good use, which was interesting to see.
Well, cheaters prosper, that's kind of the Goblin way.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I wasn't upset. Like, Goblins are my favorite. I'm actually putting some Goblins together right now, not Blood Bowl, but Goblins have always been one of my favorites. So seeing them come into the tournament and do well was actually pretty awesome to see. But I mean, I want to say a big thank you to Josh as well before we do go any further, just for running that for me. He did an awesome job stepping in at the end there. So wouldn't have happened at all if it wasn't for him.
I was saying that before because we have Oktoberfest coming up next weekend, and the way I felt yesterday, if next weekend was this weekend, I would have been dragging my butt to the game if I was able to. I mean, I slept till 1 o'clock today.
I'm jealous.
Whatever, maybe I was fighting something off. I have no idea, but I feel great now. But I felt terrible just like in the middle of the night, and I think I woke up at like 5 or 6, went back to bed, and my kids got me up. I went back to bed. Then it was like 11 or 12, and my son's like, "Get off the couch," and I'm like, "Nope." I couldn't do it.
I realize I'm the parent here, right?
Yeah, and my son likes to wake me up with a punch in the back. In the kidneys. He's that's how he rolls.
Oh, I can't wait. Give me a few years, I'll be there.
Oh yeah, yeah, you will be. So, what team did Eric win with? Does anyone remember what roster he had?
I
Pirate.
can actually look it up. Hold on.
Oh, just out of curiosity.
You mean for Pirates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Ken who won.
Oh, Ken won.
Ken
Was it
won?
Ken?
I
Yeah, I'm
thought,
pretty sure
I
Ken won.
thought Ken won the one after that. I thought he won Jason's.
Oh no, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking of Crucible then. Yeah, who did Eric win with? I'll have to look that one up because I don't remember actually.
Pulling up my incomplete Voodoo standing sheet.
I can look up the event page.
Kimry.
Camry, yeah.
Wow, he won with Camry.
They're a hard team to push around.
Yeah, Kimry plays street ball pretty well.
Yeah.
I did okay with Kimry in one of the tournaments with him. I did okay for me, which is like going 50%.
Humans.
Well, yeah. This is the year of fullings, so I'm doing that.
Fully support that.
That will
But,
be
no,
It's going to be Crucible to Crucible. That's going to be.
Oof.
nice. But no, I've got some fun other ideas for some future Pirates and Nuffle events. So we'll see if I can think of some crazy rules to facilitate them. But we'll see.
Yeah, there's nothing that the NAF loves more than trying to publish crazy rules.
Oh yeah, I
Make
mean,
Phil pull out his hair.
I've literally got some ideas for like sailing off the Florida coast and Florida man jumps onto the ship and starts messing with people, and to the goblins kidnapping a bunch of trolls because they're looking for Ripper Bolgrot's secret treasure and they think the trolls can take it to them. So there'll be a bunch of angry trolls running around on the ships and stuff like that. So we'll see if I can get that approved even. But
Well, it all depends on what they come out with in November. November 1st, I think, is when they're going to tell us.
Yeah.
oh, is that when? Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
What am I missing here on November 1st?
That's when the NAF comes out with their new policies for the next year.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Florida is no longer allowed to play Blood Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think they want that kind of mayhem on their hands if they were to make that proclamation.
We're a little goofy, but when you take top 3 at the Sevens event up in Chicago, apparently we're doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I was saying at Crucible, I think like Sevens and Street Ball and stuff like that are kind of our thing now.
Yeah, we play. I think I could easily say we play more variants than anyone in the world.
Yeah.
In like Florida, like in an area our size, I think we play more variants than anyone.
For sure.
I think we played them all. I think Death Ball was the last one that we didn't play before.
Yeah, but consistently, like there's street and sevens being run a lot, and now even Dungeon is coming in.
Someone needs to do a Rat Ogre Bowl next.
I'd play.
Yeah, Ken has mentioned doing that before.
And we even did beach. We did beach.
Yeah, we did beach, yeah.
Yeah.
I think only the French do beach. They do it naked though.
Oh, God.
Although I did hear rumors, didn't somebody have like a crazy thong on? Eric or Ken?
I think they were going to for some psychological warfare. I'm not sure if that actually came to fruition.
Yeah, there was this whole conversation after the Crucible Carnage event when we were at Chili's about wearing like banana hammocks basically and just using that to move the miniatures along the board.
Oh boy.
And that was it was a rough mental image to say the least. But
Or George Takei would say, "Oh my."
oh my.
Hey, well, you know what? I just thought of something, and I wanted to. So in October, we had 2 of our Blood Bowl community down here in Florida have incidents where they're health wise not at 100%. Steve Hardwick, who's the owner of a hobby shop out in, where is it, Bumblescrew, Florida?
Winter Haven. I always get
Winter
Winter Haven and Winter Park mixed up. I'm pretty sure Winter Haven.
Yeah,
It's pretty odd that Florida has winter anything in a name down
Yeah,
there.
there's like 4 different winters around here. I'm like, what is going on?
It's because
Snowbirds.
it's Winter Haven and Winter Park. It's where people come to winter. Like they come from the north down here to Winter Park and
That
Winter
makes
Haven to
That
get away
makes
from
sense.
winter.
Well, that makes sense. But explain to me why, when I was at the 7-Eleven before setting up for the AMA, that there was actually a stand of hats, winter hats.
It's for people going back up north.
Yeah, it's when the snowbirds go back. They got some novelty Florida hats to take with them.
Yeah, forget the North Face. They go to 7-Eleven for their winter hats. But yeah, anyway, Steve ended up having an accident and getting hurt, and hopefully he's on a better path to recovery. I kind of see tidbits here and there, but I think the shop is closing, and they had a stand at Crucible, and they were selling stuff at a discount, and I know they're selling stuff through Facebook, but I'm pretty sure I saw that the shop was closing. So I just want to say, to anybody listening that, we wish Steve the best and a speedy recovery.
For sure.
Yep. And then one of our Blood Bowl coaches, Alan Mann, was actually dropping out of Crucible to help run the stand for a hobby shop at the event. And then he ended up in the hospital with some kind of issue, and he's still there. Last I spoke to him. So, we definitely want to wish him a speedy and healthy recovery as well.
Yeah, definitely. Is he actually in the ICU, or was he just messing around when he said about that?
I think that he was serious about that part.
Okay.
I think he thought he was getting out, and it ended up getting worse.
Okay.
So if he, is laying there in the hospital, maybe he'll have a chance to listen to this while we're doing it or later on. But yeah.
Get well soon, Alan.
Yeah, Alan, hope you feel better, buddy. I have some swag for you from Crucible. Swag always cheers people up.
Oh, yeah, it does. I was actually going through my bag. She just finished unpacking my bag from Crucible today. And I was going through like the bottle caps and stuff I've got in there. And I'm like, I'm going to need to find a bigger bag just for the amount of bottle caps and dice I have now. And I didn't even go to that many tournaments this year. It's crazy.
Yeah, I have so much stuff. I try and I think at a certain point I was collecting, and I didn't. It wasn't like a conscious thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that, I'm hoarding stuff. So I ended up, before a Oracle Cup last year, to help pay for my trip up there, I ended up selling a lot of stuff, and the reason for selling it, it wasn't financially motivated to do so. It's just that I felt like I had this shelf of stuff sitting there, and I thought somebody out there would get use out of it instead of it just sitting there on my shelf. So I sold all my NAF dice. I never use them. I never use the NAF block dice. I tend to kind of use what I like to use. The block dice that I tend to use more than anything are the Charlie Victor dice that Duncan Holman did out of the UK, and they're kind of squarish. And unless I'm, playing with the tournament dice that I'm playing in, I tend to use Ryan's D6 dice from last year's Street Brawl. The black ones were the best. I love those dice.
Those were good ones. Whatchamacallit? I remember you were on Blood Bowl Trade and hawking all your wares, and people were like, "Are you getting out of Blood Bowl?" And you're like, "No, just shrinking my collection."
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to have a collection. I have so much stuff, and I don't need any more stuff. But there's so many things out there. Every time somebody puts out a Kickstarter, I'm like, oh god, I really want that. But
I have literally forced myself to stop going on that website because of that reason. Because I just can't trust myself.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much good stuff. That's the problem. It's like.
Yeah, there is GW and third-party vendors. I mean, there's just too much good stuff out there to. I had no interest in buying those Nurgle dice, and then people were using them left and right at Crucible.
Oh, they're good. They're gorgeous dice.
I think they're one of the best sets that they put out. I love the color of them. So I ended up having to pick up a set. Actually, I went to buy the set, and Patrick Wynn ended up buying them for me because he's just such a saint, that man.
He's a good guy.
He is a great guy.
My very first Crucible, where I ran the Blood Bowl when it was still a small thing, I actually played him in my second game. I was playing Escape, and I just started playing Blood Bowl at that point. And he, trounced me. I'm an easygoing guy with Blood Bowl. I don't play to win anything like that, but I got in a mood, big time. And luckily it was lunch after that, and I walked away, and I had to calm down. I came back, I was like, man, I'm sorry. I apologize. I got in a really bad mood. I had no Skaven left on the board. I apologize. And he just took it all in his stride, and I was like, it was just demoralizing watching my Skaven wither away turn after turn, and he was just apologizing every time he put one down. I was like, "Man, your fault." I mean, it kind of is, but
That's Blood Bowl. Yeah. I know
yeah,
it is.
exactly.
I
But
played
he was- go
I
ahead.
played him this Street Brawl too. Played him this year
Mm-hmm.
versus his ladies.
His Valkyries.
Yeah, his Norse, and versus my humans, and yeah, I love Patrick because he'll tell you like, I don't know, man, I don't know if you want to do that, and usually he's right. Usually I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. That isn't good. And he kept telling me like because I took, for some reason, this was the tournament that I took pro on like anyone that I could, because I just wanted to. And he's like, well, you got to use a skill. You paid for it. Just throw it. Just do it. Like, and we kept saying like, well, what's that guy going to do? I'm like, well, he's going to do that because he's a goddamn professional. And that was the line that we kept using.
You were the only match that I beat you, that I won on Street Brawl on Friday, and your pro did not work at all. Every time you tried to pro, it just failed every time.
I won 2 and lost 2, so I lost versus you and Patrick, and I won versus Eric and Jason Carter.
Well, we have the winner of the Street Bowl event, Street Brawl.
Yeah.
It's Street Bowl, but we call it Street Brawl for the fluff. But
I actually did that in honor of Tom, who provided us the boards for our first one, because his board is the Street Brawl board.
Oh, okay.
That's why I called it that. So because he gave me an amazing deal because he likes to support tournaments. So we're always going to say it on our thing. Thank you, Tom, because you always do an amazing job and you're a great guy.
That's Tom Anders from Impact Miniatures.
Yes.
And there are still people who will ask like, "Oh, hey, who makes a Street Bowl board?" I'm like, Tom from Impact.
Tom from Impact.
And aside from Jack making one for our tournaments, you're starting to see more sevens pitches now, and especially from Jack. But there's really not any kind of like Street Ball pitches out there other than the one from Impact.
Yep.
So that's if you're looking for a Street Ball pitch, and that's where you get it, Impact Miniatures. Or if you want a custom one, Jack Petruccia from Maelstrom Gaming Mats has made 2 of them for tournaments that I've run, and they've both come out fantastic. Gary did the artwork for both of those as well.
If you're doing the first ever tournament, and your area hasn't done it, my suggestion would be to contact Tom. He gave me a bulk discount. I assume he will give bulk discounts to people, so you can get a large set of it, so you can run a tournament. And it's a very good deal. They give you a very, very fair rate.
Definitely. So Crucible was I think a great success. We had 14 coaches on Friday, 16 coaches, almost 20 on Saturday.
We had 16 coaches on Friday.
14.
I'm pretty sure we had 16.
I thought. Well, I put in the results for the NAF.
Oh, did we? We
I thought it was 16 too, but I want to say it was 14.
Oh, well, we had more than last year.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
I will say for the numbers we had this year, like a testament to it, they originally put this in with the board game group because they didn't think there'd be too many people playing Blood Bowl, and we kind of just blew them away completely with how many people came.
Yeah, they had to give us our own space out in the hallway for day number 2.
Yeah, and they would. I think obviously you're not going to reach. I don't think you'll ever hit 40k Age of Sigmar levels of people, but I'm pretty sure we're probably up there with things like Infinity and things like that with numbers of people attending now. So I think it's honestly becoming one of the bigger events at Crucible.
I really liked that hallway too that we were in on Saturday and Sunday. I thought it was just perfect for our group.
Yeah, it was
Very
quiet. It was good.
Yep, little intimate area. But so Friday was street, and then we did the ridiculousness that was Saturday.
It was ridiculous, but everybody, once they came through to the other side of that, was like, "Oh my god, that was awesome!" But
Yeah,
there's no denying getting through it was a little bit of a slog.
Yeah, you heard after that. I mean, you don't realize how much of a mental grind that was.
So
almost 12 hours of Blood Bowl.
outside person kind of looking in. So for people who don't know, I kind of hosted the event, is what I would say. Jim kind of did a lot of the legwork and stuff, but I kind of ran it,
It was a group
as
effort.
TO
And
ish.
Patrick was there all day, even though he wanted
Right.
nothing to do with it because he knows how grueling it could be. He was ready to play as our alternative in case we needed an extra, and he almost had to step in. But who ended up coming from Jacksonville? Chris McMillan came down. He made it at the last minute to be partners. But Patrick was waiting to go. So thank you, Patrick, for
Yes.
again, the saint of Blood Bowl. Coming in and helping us out. But yeah, Ryan, you did an excellent job of keeping the ship going.
I wanted to say that outside looking in, because I wasn't playing it, you could see as the day went on the mental toll that it took on people, and by the very end, people were making stupid errors because it had just been grinding. For the audience who do not know, we played Death Bowl. We did it as a team event. So it was basically, normally Death Bowl is a 4-for-all, everyone's out for themselves, but we did 2-on-2. So a team of 2 versus a team of 2. And each game is 3.5 hours. We did 3 rounds in one day with small breaks in the middle. So we basically started around 10 in the morning and it ended close to 11 at night.
We didn't get we gathered at 10, but we didn't get started because we're waiting on 2 coaches. So we started at 11.
Yeah.
But those matches could have very easily went over 3.5 hours if we weren't so focused on the time. And there were several times where Ryan had to make the hard call and announce, okay, guys, 4-minute rounds. Okay, guys, 3-minute rounds. There was even once where I want to say it was a 2-minute round.
Yep.
It was 2.5.
2.5. And that was
2.5.
Holy shit.
That was the first round where we decided in the beginning, we're like, well, we'll let it go and we'll see how it just plays out, and see if people can kind of keep on pace. I kind of told them, you should try to keep it around a 4-minute round. And then after the first round, people were telling me yeah, some people's first rounds were taking 10 minutes or 12 minutes. And we learned very quickly, we can't do this. That was the quickest thing that we learned was we can't. So about the halfway point, I basically said we're gonna have to start speeding this up. One table decided they just kind of accepted the fact that they weren't going to finish, so they just decided to keep going at their kind of leisurely pace. They only got in 3.5 hours through the first half. That's how long it could take.
Wow.
So
I'll tell you what, obviously playing against 3 other teams, you can kind of see how their dynamic worked. And some teams, like when Jason York and I were a team, and we played against Jason Weaver from the Pacific Northwest area, the Ordo Fanaticus group.
Great guy, by the way.
Yes, fantastic guy. So happy he not just made one event, he played in all 3 and was down.
Yeah, really good to meet him.
Yeah,
also the owner of Special Play Cards.
Yes. Him and Ken Parks were on a team, and Jason and I have played against each other and several times, and obviously are in the Florida Blood Bowl group. We talked and we kind of strategized here and there, but there was a lot of trust between the 2 of us where we kind of did our thing, and for the most part it worked out. But I noticed Jason and Ken, obviously with them not knowing each other quite as well, they strategized quite a bit. Their rounds took a little bit longer. So it was neat to see the different dynamic between teammates and how they kind of rolled. I wish I could have seen, obviously, Chris Nelson, Florida Blood Bowl man, and Howard, who's kind of new to our group. They came in first. I would have loved to have seen how their dynamic worked on the pitch.
I would have loved to have played against them. They were just clicking that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did. I watched their match. I got to watch everyone's match. You got 3.5 hours to meander. So, and there was only 4 games going at a time.
Yeah.
Big games, but there's only 4 of them. So you get to kind of see how everything played out. Their general strategy, it's what a lot of people I think tried to do is, Howard was basically Kemry and he was going to pound into the middle and hold the middle. And then Chris played Skaven, and his thing was just to get the ball and run with it, get the ball out of there. But the middle's where the ball comes back in. So whoever holds that middle ground can keep getting the ball over and over again and scoring. And that was kind of their tactic.
A lot
of teams try to do the same thing.
What was the highest scoring match?
The highest scoring match was a Kimry Norse combo.
Oh, it was Ray's Norse who had the highest? He had 10?
He had 10 in one game, and he wasn't the only. I think his son scored 1 or 2 more. I can't remember, but yeah, that was the highest scoring match. Overall, Chris Nelson had the most touchdowns, but he also won the highest trophy. So the most touchdowns trickled to the next person, which was Ray.
Okay.
I think Ray had 14 on the day, and I think Chris had 19.
Oh my God, I got to look that up. That's a lot of touchdowns.
It's insane.
It was a lot of fun. And I tell you what, though, usually after a very involved, a very heavy event like that, people want to, break or take some time. Dude, there was like, it was right after the very next day, like, I want more Death Bowl. I want to play Death Bowl again. That was so much fun. I want to buy one of those pitches. I want to play again. Ray is still in the chats shouting Death Bowl, which I love him to death. That's awesome.
I think he really enjoyed it. I think you brought up a good point, James. He got to play with his son, which is great. It's awesome to see a dad and his son, and they got to be a team together and play, and that's great.
That made me happy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you want to see.
Yeah, let's see. I'm looking at the stats now for the individuals. So we actually, did this up twice.
Yeah, we had to do scoring for this was a little interesting because team score and NAF score are 2 different things because it's not intended to be a team event. We did get it approved by the NAF as a team event. We wrote it up as a team event. But to score it was a little different. We basically had to keep 2 different kind of tallies going, and I actually had to do everything by hand. I have a notebook, and I had to write everything out every round so that we could go back later and pair the matches like how Death Bowl has to be, because the NAF has a way that Death Bowl has to run. So individual standings versus team standings are 2 different things. So you can kind of see there was some delineation between like the first place person and then the first place team. So the first place person and the first team were on the same thing, but the second place person and this and the other half of the first place team was not the same. So it's a very interesting dichotomy of how it works.
Well, your notes were great. I had an easy time putting in all the matches. I checked it 3 times. I'm just going to run down the individual and the team just for anybody who wasn't there. All this stuff is posted on Facebook under the events, which could be found under the Florida Blood Bowl group. But as far as the individual stuff, Chris Florida Man Nelson came in first with 96 points, and he had 17 touchdowns for the day. Nick Phillips, and Chris was also playing Skaven. So Nick Phillips came in second with his Amazons, his very bashy Amazons. He also had, he was pretty high in the casualties. He had 8 casualties. So third was Ray. He played Norse. Then I came in 4th with Lizardmen. Mike Tremarsh, otherwise known as Tree, came in 5th with Underworld. Mark Vaughn came in 6th and also took Stunty with Goblins. Jason came in 7th. Jason York here with Undead, my partner. Then we had Howard Adams come in 8th with Kemry. Eric Nyberger come in 9th with Goblins. Then Chris McMillan 10th with Goblins. Then Josh Wojcik 11th with Ogres. And so that's surprising, with Josh. And I think that was a victim right there of how the matches had to end up getting assigned and someone coming out towards the bottom, because Josh generally does really well with Stunty, and he does amazingly well with Ogres. So I think if it was like, if the matches weren't the way they were, I think Josh probably would have placed a little bit higher. Sebastian Ray's son came in 12th with Kemry. Then we had Ken Parks come in 13th with Wood Elves. Jason Carter come in 14th with his humans. However, Jason did get the most casualties for the day, and that's all he was out for. He gave no fucks towards winning whatsoever. He wanted most casualties, and he actually thanked John Alberto in his acceptance speech, because John gets the most casualties. But yeah, Jason racked up 18 casualties on the day.
Yeah, he and his girlfriend he built their teams basically to kill, and
She
he
had
didn't.
12.
Yeah, he built their teams to kill. I don't think they scored a touchdown the whole day, but they really didn't play the ball.
No, they didn't.
They just played to murder things.
So they play Blood Bowl the right way, basically.
Yeah, more blood, less. Jason Weaver came in 15th with his Dark Elves. He's playing a year of Dark Elves, so hats off to him for that. It's a commitment playing a team for a whole year, and he's been doing Dark Elves. So, and then Cecilia came in last, 16th with her Orcs, no touchdowns, but she came in second with casualties with 12.
Yeah.
So casualties wise, yeah. Jason in first with 18. And the second, there was a six casualty difference between him and Cecilia. She had 12.
But if you add them together, they had 30 casualties as a team.
Yeah, that's insane.
When I saw you write that down, I thought that's got to be a misprint, surely. How has anybody inflicted that many casualties in one day?
No,
nobody was even close.
He had some dudes, and he had some pylon and some mighty blow and some chainsaws. Like, yeah, it was there to murder, and that's what they did.
They did. They came in and they achieved their goals. They were team goals. So my favorite part about the team event was the names, because nobody kind of knew that we were going to be tracking points in terms of team names. So like literally at 10 o'clock when we all gathered and we started, putting people into score, we're like, all right, you guys got to come up with team names. So Chris and Howard was Florida Man and the Popo, and that is my favorite name by far. That is just too awesome. Jason, well, my second favorite one is Jason and our team were Lord Borax the Spoilers. Then we had Josh and Nick's the Brogerzons. Then we had Ray and his son. They were the Conehead, spelled Kone. I'm not sure how or why, but that's what they wanted. Eric and Mark, the Goblin Connection, were the Crimson Mountain Wood Elves because they were playing goblins, pretending to be wood elves. I guess, I don't know. Tree.
By the way, just to let you know, Mark Vaughn was not going to play goblins. He was going to play. I forgot what he was going to play at dwarves. He was going to play dwarves. So it was going to be a dwarf goblin team. He got there. He liked Eric's list so much. He goes, you know what? I'm playing your exact list. So the two teams were exactly the same. They were goblin squared. Like that was their.
That would have been a better team name. I like that.
I suggested it to them, but they didn't go with it. But Goblin Squared, two teams exactly the same of goblins, and that's how they rolled.
Makes me so happy.
I like the next team name, Mike Tremarsh and Chris McMillan. They were Snots and Shrooms.
Yeah.
Snots and Shrooms. Then we had Ken and Weave. They were Team Darkwood.
Yep.
And last but not least, we had Jason and Cecilia. They were Team Zero for zero fucks given. I'm pretty sure Jason's shirt said that too.
It did.
Yeah. So yeah, we almost had another team because Ryan and Liam, close. Because you guys were set to play, and then
it was us. And we had Patrick win if we had one more player.
And there was going to be, and he couldn't make it at the last minute.
Yep.
So that's all right, though. 16 for Death Bowl, 4 teams is pretty solid. I take that.
Liam and I were going to be the greatest team. We were going to be humans and Skaven focused on passing the ball, and we were going to be shitty elves.
Yep. And it would have been glorious.
Would have been, could have been.
Chris Nelson's in the chat, and he's like, I love that tournament, and although I got a ton of TDs, I just want to say it wouldn't have been possible without the amazing job did by Howard.
They worked well together. Like, that's not even in question. They coordinated. And like you were talking about Weave and Ken coordinating. No, they talked, and they talked a lot to each other, and they coordinated what they were going to do. And they both know the game of Blood Bowl well.
Yeah, Howard's a good, solid player. Obviously, it was my first time, I think, meeting Howard this year, and a good player.
Well, did he win Sunday?
He did win Sunday, yes.
Yep.
So he did really well. So he took home a trophy on Friday. I forget what it was. It might have been most casualties or touchdowns. He won something.
I don't know. I have to check.
Because I have a picture of him with a trophy. So he definitely won something. He came in. He was the number 1 team on Saturday for Death Bowl, and he won on Sunday. So yeah, he took home 3 trophies.
He pulled off the hat trick.
Yeah, he did.
Hat trick. So,
very impressive.
yeah, maybe. Well, I don't think we're doing 3 events next year. We had talked about it, but I was going to say we should have like an overall champion or something like that for all of Crucible, like player who does the best in all 3 tournaments.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, we obviously we're a year away from Crucible 8, but we've already started talking about what we want to do, and I think we're definitely staying with the tradition of doing Street Brawl on Friday, and then doing a 2-day Blood Bowl, like a 5-round as opposed to a 6. So we do 3 and 2, because a 4-day, 4-match, 4-game in 1 day is a long day. So this way, if we do 3 on a Saturday and 2 on a Sunday, it'll give us time to check out what else Crucible has to offer, drink more beers, or finish early and go out and do some stuff.
Not have dinner at 11 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, that was.
You guys want to hear something crazy? And no one knows this except Liam. So we had dinner. We got done at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Liam's like, "Hey, do you want to go play some Kill Team?" I'm like,
Yeah,
let's go play some Kill Team. So he and I played Kill Team that night after dinner.
No way.
So about 2:30 was it? We wrapped up. I mean, in the end, we were just bouncing shots off each other. It's like, you know what? Neither of us fails our morale test this term. We'll just call it quits. And we're like, okay, and we both passed. All right, we're done. We'll
about 2:30. Rolled into my room around 3. I was like, I'm going to take a bath because my muscles are sore. Like, I didn't get to bed until 3:30 or 4 that night.
That's awesome.
That was a long day. But I was like, I'm going to do some Kill Teams.
It was good fun.
Yeah. I played it again today, actually. I'm not going to go into it because it's Blood Bowl podcast, but I did play again today. It's a great game.
I got to get into it.
I have many kits if you guys want a demo.
Oh, I think so. I think we'll have to get something scheduled.
But so that was a good one. Death Bowl, like there's nothing like it. I don't know if anyone's listening that wasn't there. Like, it's one of those things. Like, if you weren't there, you just don't know what it was. Like, it is just a crazy event, and the way we played it made it even crazier. So the team aspect, I think we could legitimately pitch what we did to the NAF as its own variant, like a Death Bowl variant, like a team Death Bowl variant. And I think it could catch on just because there's no other NAF thing that lets you play as a team at the exact same time. Like, there's team events where we're all on the same team, but we're all playing individually, as opposed to
Death Bowl up in Canada when they played. It's everybody's out for themselves.
Right. And that's how Death Bowl is supposed to normally be played. But I think there was something to what we did that was kind of, it had a spark to it that was pretty cool.
Oh, I agree.
I do too.
Yep.
And then after you get that approved, we'll get Death Bowl 7s underway.
There was a lot of talk about that at dinner that night.
Yeah.
Like, Eric was sitting there, like, racking his brain, like, okay, the pitch would be like this and the blah, 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 blah. Like, you're putting way too much thought into this at this point. Let's keep being loud and cussing and pissing off everyone around us. We were a little rowdy that night.
Yeah, that was probably the rowdiest IHOP group in the history of IHOP.
Oh, well. Could have been worse. We could have been, drinking at the IHOP, which we weren't.
That is true.
We were trying to sober up. There was no alcohol involved at the IHOP, thankfully.
I'm just glad you and I found the IHOP this time.
Yeah, we went to the alternate universe IHOP.
Oh my god, yeah. I couldn't believe that when I walked in the morning. I was like, these guys done already? Like, they just sent the message. I'm like walking around, everyone's like looking at me like, who the hell is this guy?
Oopsie.
It's all good.
So Sunday was Dungeon 7s. I don't think Liam, were you there on Dungeon 7s?
Yeah, I was there. I was kind of like hovering around, like, because obviously I was, as I wasn't needed, I was just hovering around in between doing board game demos. But yeah, it was a cool event. I really like the look of Dungeons. I'd like to give it a go next time we get one out.
Well, Jason's got a big one coming up. We got one. You got one tomorrow, or is it next Sunday?
Yeah, I have River City Sevens tomorrow, which is probably why I'm jumping off here in a little bit because I got to take a shot at NyQuil, so I hopefully feel better tomorrow. But yeah, we got to
saying you were going to take a shot. I'm like, aren't you not feeling well?
Yeah, it's NyQuil, but
that makes sense.
Yeah, we're gonna have sevens tomorrow, and then we'll have another one in November, and the big one's December, 6 rounds.
Oh wow!
And we've gotten a lot of really good companies to be a part of that as far as donating swag and prizes. So it's gonna be pretty
you
good.
Did an outstanding job. Like I mean, it's a lot of like outside the box stuff that's really cool that no one's really seen before.
That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Do sponsorships with a computer gaming group. And I just love looking for the off-the-wall things that are like just no one sees or small little companies because I want to get them as much publicity as possible.
Tell me about those dice. Those are amazing.
Oh, man. The what company was that? They're right over here at Die Hard Dice. Yeah, those metal dice, they will mess someone up.
That's great. Yeah, if your opponent's pissing you off, just smack one of them in the eyes. There we go.
Yeah, it's a set of polyhedral dice, and I kid you not, I got these in, and I'm like, I wish I didn't tell people about this already. These things are fantastic.
They look very cool.
I expect they'll get some of my business quite soon as I see a set of dice that I want personally.
And that event had 12 coaches, it looks like. So, yeah, we had 14 on Friday, 16 on Saturday, and 12 on Sunday, which was a great turnout.
Yeah, Jason did a really good job with those pitches. They were very cool.
Oh,
Jason
those pitches.
does a really good job on theme. Whether it's a team's theme or tournament theme, he's really, really good.
He spent 20-some hours making those Castlevania pitches.
Oof.
And I don't know how we did it. And I was there helping him out because we were debating at the time, how do we want to do these? Like, he wasn't really selling them. So to do them on vinyl would have been super expensive for the size of those pitches and the quantities we needed for the event. So I thought of probably the most affordable way would be to in Adobe InDesign, I could import the PDF and then print them out in tiles. And then the tiles would need to be cut down, overlapped, and taped together. And that's what Jason did. I think he started doing them on Friday, worked on them a little bit on Saturday, and then finished them up on Sunday.
He was done with them on Friday. He wasn't working because he was cutting them while I was playing him in Street.
They were incredible.
He was working on them continuously. Like he tirelessly worked on them Friday, I think, so he could at least have all of Death Bowl to kind of do his own thing. I think he pieced them together Sunday morning.
Yeah, he actually finished them just before the tournament on Sunday because he was still cutting out the bats and stuff like that just before the tournament started.
Yeah, the crazy amount of effort he did that. Like,
yep.
Some of you guys are TOs. You guys shame me. Shame my effort. You guys you guys are like, oh, I'm gonna do all this thing. No, that's a little too much for me. I'll walk around and correct people. I'll get some prizes.
Hey, no one beats your gold chain with the lock on the end. Just
I will make smileys, as they are called, for my events. I will do that. The golden smiley. That's what everyone's looking to win with the Street Brawl.
Every tournament's different, and every tournament organizer is different. All that matters is that it's run well, and that people have fun. I've run tournaments like I was like when I was putting stuff together for this year's Oktoberfest going down next Saturday. I was looking at pictures from last year's, and I'm like, wow, did I have a lot of shit last year? I mean, a lot more than I think than I've ever had at any other tournament before. And this year is like the exact opposite. It is night and day. Like I have some pretty cool stuff, but it's not like the prizes aren't like what last year's were. I put more emphasis on the swag. I think I only have posters, dice, and the shot glasses.
Your Oktoberfest last year is where I coined the phrase, what is swag again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I realized I got to rein it in a little bit when it comes to some things. But, yeah, I had a lot tied up in Crucible, so it really didn't give me a lot of leeway. to do as much as I probably would have wanted to. And you know what? That's probably a good thing. So I think it's going to be a fun event. And, you know, whoever wins is going to walk away with a couple of things, and whoever places will have a couple of things.
Are you going to be doing any sort of painting contest again this year, or?
Yeah, there's actually going to be a best orc team, and that's going to go into the painting is going to be a part of it. So like how your orc team actually looks, the painting of it, the fluff behind it, you know, how you named your roster, all that stuff is going to factor into who has the best orc team.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, I am going to do a prize for that.
I'm going to win no points in that area.
It does kind of segue into something that I just wanted to touch on really briefly. I really don't want to, you know, make anything out of this other than, you know, just kind of, it's just more like a, how do I put it? So at one of the game stores where we play some Blood Bowl tournaments, I guess there was a gift certificate that was handed out as a prize, and somebody tried to cash that gift certificate out to the game store. It was brought to my attention because the game store kind of had an issue with it, in a sense that, you know, hey, we're not really making any money when you guys have Blood Bowl tournaments here. So we're kind of doing it as a favor to you. And then for somebody to do that, it kind of like really bothered us. And, you know, they didn't ask me to do or say anything about it, but I'm kind of just, you know, and I don't want to know who it was. All I'm saying is that, you know, here's what I could tell you I do. And I'm sure, you know, you guys already know this. When I go to a game store to play, I try and drop, whether or not I win a gift certificate, I try and drop money in that store just to say thank you for having us there.
Yep.
Because they, you know, generally most game stores will do like like Liam and I have talked about this with Coliseum, like when we first started running events there, or he started running them. So if they're charging $10 a head for the tournament entry fee, or then Liam started maybe charging a little bit more so he can do some swag. So if they were only charging $10 to get in, they're giving that $10 back in gift certificates to try and make some money, you know, because more than likely you're going to spend more than $10 on whatever it is you're buying in the store.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be. I mean, there are game stores like Campus Cards and Collectibles where I feel like they don't give a shit. We can just show up and play there, and they're not going to say or ask us for anything. But I don't think that's the norm, nor do I think that, you know, should be the standard. Even when I go there, I at least buy, you know, something.
Buy a pot of paint. Buy a a brush. Buy a set of dice. Buy something. Every store I go to, every tournament, I'll buy something.
And I think that's how the majority of people are. So I'm not like, you know, like I said, I'm not saying this to make a federal case out of it. I don't really want to know who did it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to argue about it. I'm just saying that, you know, this is you know, we're known by our reputation, and I want to be like, oh, Florida Blood Bowl group wants to put on a tournament here. Yes, let's have them. That's awesome. Not, oh man, they want to come in here and eat up my table space and blah blah. I don't want that to be the case.
Sure.
So yeah, you know, if you win a gift certificate and you can find something in there, then try and trade it with somebody else in the group. But don't go back to the store and say, hey, can I cash this out? That's just not good for anybody.
Yep.
So everything's been smoothed out with the store. Everything's cool. No issues. But I did want to bring it up.
Yeah, if you're TOing and win something, or even if you don't, get a prize for your tournament from that place. That's the thing. I think, James, you have an ogre that you won at one of my events. I got that from when I went to when I went to Coliseum one time. Like, oh, I'll pick up an ogre and it'll be something for Street Brawl or something like that.
I wanted that ogre in the worst way too. But yeah, cool. All right, like I said, don't want to, you know, just want to mention it and, you know, make sure everybody's kind of on the same page. No issues. Everything's kosher. Everybody's happy. But, you know, that's not us. We don't want that reputation.
Always support your local store as best you can, for sure.
That's right.
Because if they go away, we got nowhere to play. Unless we all just start camping outside of Jim's house until he lets us in to play Blood Bowl.
Nope. Don't want that. My wife will probably, that's probably where she'll turn around and be like, yeah, maybe we should get a gun for the house.
Can Jim come out to play?
Nope, he's been a bad boy. So what do we got coming up? So Crucible's over, Chaos Cup's over, October's almost over, and we got Oktoberfest at the end of the month, and we got River City 7 Dungeon 7s tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's October. So who wants to talk about what's coming up for November?
Oh, the Barrel Bash.
Oh, I am so upset I can't make that.
That's going to be an awesome event. So who wants to tell us about it?
I'll talk about it. I know Clay's working really hard. It's in St. Augustine. He's working really hard to put together one heck of an event, but he's very big about making sure people who come up, because it is in a brewery. So will there be drinking? Of course.
If it was in October, it'd be in a brewery.
Oh,
Dad joke.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Or it would have been an Oktoberfest.
Yeah,
That one's better. That
There
one's
you
better.
go. I like
But,
Oktoberfest in a brewery.
So
This is my future, and it makes me sad.
It is. Yeah,
It
you
is.
just wait.
Take notes, Liam.
But he's going pretty good on the swag. His trophies look great. They're drinking horns.
Oh my God, they're amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's got dice. He's buying the first beer for everyone. If you're not drinking beer, he's going to have non-alcoholic beverages there. He's actually giving out extra swag to anybody who's a designated driver.
That's
Those
awesome.
poor unfortunate souls themselves, because I'm getting trashed. What else is there? He's got this weird rule that I absolutely love. You designate one of your players at the start of the game to be your barrel basher. So it's like they go through the stages of drinking. Like, I think the first stage is the I love you man stage, and he's everyone's friend, and I don't know if he gives you a leader or if he gives you like fan favorite or whatever like that. And then it keeps getting worse. Like, then he goes into frenzy because he's just trashed. And finally, I think the last one is he gets bonehead or really stupid and -1 movement or something. And it's just crazy.
Sounds so cool. I mean, I'm going to certainly do my best to get, because that's going to be an awesome tournament. Anything that involves Blood Bowl and beer at the same time is just the best.
Yep.
But
You know, a lot of people are getting a room at the hotel that's like within walking distance for those who decide they want to come up, drink, and just not go back.
There are
Staggering
designated drivers,
distance.
too.
yeah. Walking is very, very kindly putting it.
I'll probably be so drunk I'll take an Uber, and the Uber will be like, "Dude, it's like literally like you walk across the street." I'll be like, "I don't care. I want my Uber."
This
Swag,
just like
the
your
swag
tip,
and trophies look
buddy.
amazing for the event. The dice are perfect. They're like foaming beer yellow. They're amazing with the logo on it. And I'm working on some posters for them too. And before you even ask, Jason, yes, after Clay's event, I'll be doing posters for you.
Okay. Good. I'm glad we're on that same like team wavelength like we were last weekend. So we're still on that wavelength.
Yes, we're very much on that wavelength. Unless we're across from the pitch from each other, then maybe not. But we'll see.
We'll have to break the wavelength at that time. We'll figure it out.
You gave me a thorough thrashing on Friday's Street Brawl. My vampires didn't stand a chance against your dwarves. You pitch cleared me almost twice.
Oof.
It was
Yeah, the dwarves had a very good round that round.
brutal.
They had a
They
very
were-
good round.
They were devilish. Well, the ironic thing is last year I played vampires and Paul Fixel played dwarves, and he came in first and I came in second. This year I played vampires again and he played dwarves again, and we came in almost dead last and right before last. So I sent him a message, but I don't think he's seen it. I'm like, dude, what happened? What did we do? Last year we ruled this tournament. This year we got hosed big time.
Nuffle giveth and Nuffle taketh away.
That is all very true.
And
But it was,
a good chunk of the players who played last year played this year. We had a lot of return business.
yeah, definitely. I think it's a thing. I think that's our Friday thing, and I think that next year will be the third one. I think that's fantastic. So I will say, I mean, Crucible was great. The only thing that I can say from an organization standpoint is that they need more swag. They need more stuff. They ran out. They ran out of shirts. They ran out of stuff in the swag. They ran out. I think they had a very successful year from what I saw and what
Yeah,
was said afterwards.
I think this was the first year that they actually like sold out of rooms and things like that. I think this was definitely the biggest one yet, and it might have caught them a bit off guard.
Yeah, I think they got more people than they expected
Which is a good problem to have.
by a reasonable margin.
Yes.
I know. There's actually also already talk between the organizers of Crucible of next year starting the planning a lot sooner in the year.
Yes.
And building up to, because I mean I've had people asking me about where we get all of our miniatures from and stuff like that for the Blood Bowl event. So I think there's definitely talk about making it bigger in terms of what people get and how much of the stuff there is next year.
Did you? I know you guys didn't get a chance to, which it sucks, but I got a few moments during Death Bowl to wander away. That main room, you couldn't put 3 more people in there.
No.
Yeah,
it was packed. Every table, elbow to elbow, people just playing. And there was just a ridiculously large amount of different games being played too. I actually, hands down, Games Workshop stuff is the dominant, and by far 40K and Age of Sigmar are the biggest. The biggest games on the block.
But 40K actually sold out.
They had other games playing there too. Bolt Action was playing, like you said, Infinity was playing there, and they had other stuff going too. I think, if I remember correctly, I thought someone was playing Legion. I thought they were playing Legion there too.
Yep.
And there was a lot of stuff going on, so that's cool, and I like that. It's not completely. It's not completely, once again, it's got a big brother, but it's not completely dominated by one thing.
No. I think Crucible is getting to the point, probably in the next couple of years, 3 years maybe, where they're going to start looking for a bigger venue, because I think it's starting to outgrow that particular convention center.
They couldn't fit us in the room that day.
Yeah, exactly.
They had to put us in the hall, and I'm talking, it's they might have hit the outgrow point at where they are now. I'm talking, if they even expect to grow by 10 or 15% next year, they won't have enough room.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. I mean, I'm already talking to some of the people about doing a, obviously not Blood Bowl related, so I won't linger on it too much, but Shadespire, or Underworlds, I should say now, Grand Clash. And those can bring in some big people. I mean, that's a game that's up and coming as well. So that's another event I'd like to see added personally, especially at night. But there's definitely people trying to add events every single year.
That would be a big thing too. If that's a way that they could expand without adding more room, is to just have it run later. Like you can run like at Dragon Con, they run 24/7.
Right.
There's events there going on 24/7. Like there's a there might be a tournament going on from 10 at night to 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And you get some sleep, and then you go play.
Sleep is for the weak.
I am totally weak then. Totally weak.
This is my first full week back at work this week, and I was very weak at the end of it.
Yeah. Speaking of weak, I think I'm going to call it a night. It's time to go take that NyQuil shot. Always a pleasure talking to you guys.
Yeah, right, man. Have a good one, man.
Thanks for making the time to be on here, and good luck with the tournament tomorrow.
Thank you. Let's hope it goes well.
Yep, and yeah, I'm sure I'll talk to you tomorrow anyway. So.
All right, sounds good. See you guys later.
Good night, Jason.
Have a good one.
Good night, everyone.
So, Jim, do us a favor, because you kind of just glossed over it.
Uh-oh.
Talk about Oktoberfest a little. Give it a sales pitch here.
Big it up like an orc. Bigging it up. Let's go.
All right, so this is the 4th Oktoberfest. The first 2 were run in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Last year's was run here in Florida, and this one's being run in Florida. Again, I'm pushing for everyone to play Orc or Goblin teams. From what I've seen, I think the majority of the teams are going to be of that nature. Although there are a few people out there who feel as though Orcs are not going to be competitive because the way the team build is being done, I'm basing it off of some of the bigger tournaments like Amoracle, where the team build is 1.2 million, but the skill packages are done in tiers. So tier 1 gets X amount of skills, tier 2 gets X amount of skills and a double, tier 3 gets X amount of skills and 2 doubles, and then tier 4, which is like your stunties, get a lot of skills and several doubles. So there was some displeasure that I have Orcs in tier 1. It's not that I have Orcs in tier 1. Orcs are a tier 1 team. They're a brutal team.
Yeah, for sure.
So where they are is where they're at. I hope to see a lot of orc teams. I hope to see a lot of goblin teams. If not, then the orcs are going to have some other races to bash, which is great.
I can't even see what reason someone would give for orcs not being a tier 1 team.
No, yeah,
they've got the elements of everything that's good in Blood Bowl. They have it. They have it at their disposal. They've got an option. They've got 9 armor across the board if you want it. Like, no one has that. No other team has that. Dwarves don't even have 9 armor. That much 9 armor. They've got orc blitzers. They're one of the best priced, most efficient models in Blood Bowl, and you get 4 of them. They're great. They have the option for a 1-turn touchdown because they can get a troll and they can get a goblin. So that's an option. You don't have to do it, but it's an option. You have the option to get goblins
with a Doom Diver.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody knows that goblins make any team they touch better. So why would you not?
I'm just saying you can take goblins too. I'm talking that's an advantage.
Yeah.
You have that as an option. You might not take it, but it's there.
You can put them on the roster, and you can kind of tailor your substitutions and stuff to whatever you're playing or whatever your starting roster will be.
Right. You've got someone who can dodge in and dodge out, which is something that they kind of lack. As a general, you have access to agility skills at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for cheap. I don't know. I can't even see that, as they've got trolls who they are not the best big guy, but they're not terrible.
Nope.
They regenerate, which is amazing.
Impossible to kill. Anyway, so yeah, orcs are good.
Orcs are.
Florida Man says that orcs are the best team in Blood Bowl that he never plays. And he believes that goblins are going to be the most competitive team in the tournament, which is something that the other half of Chris's brain, John Alberto, said as well. So I'm probably sure they've had several late night phone calls, heavy breathing between the two of them, going on about how goblins are going to be the most competitive team in the tournament.
Maybe even doing some madcap mushrooms.
Yeah, we'll see. But we'll find out on Saturday. But yeah, it's a 1.2 team build with the tier packages. Some of the extra stuff regarding Oktoberfest, if you're a coach who's played in any of the Florida Blood Bowl tournaments and you bring a friend who's never played in a Florida Blood Bowl tournament, specifically one that I've run, then you will get a bonus reroll and they will get in for free. So it's just another little thing to add, bringing some new meat into the Blood Bowl meat grinder. The big thing is that each orc team is going to have a clan champion. So you indicate which one of your players is going to be the clan champion at the beginning of the match, beginning of the tournament. Actually, it'll be the same one throughout. While that player is on the pitch, it gives certain bonuses to that team. If that player is removed from the pitch, kind of like a leader, someone with a leader skill, then you lose these abilities. So that player has fan favorite, which is going to give +1 fame, and while that player is on the pitch, it is also going to give +1 on fouling armor breaks, which does not stack with dirty player.
Does the fame stack with fan favorite for the goblin hooligan?
Yes.
Ooh.
The other thing is that the clan champion will allow you to be able to do something in the tournament while he's on the pitch if you so choose to use it. Once per match, you could choose to stun your champion and gain the ability to immediately reroll a reroll, or otherwise reroll something that cannot normally be rerolled, such as an armor break or an injury roll.
Oh,
but
yeah, you're gonna have some rages when somebody's like, "Yeah, I passed my armor," or "Yeah, you didn't kill me," and "Oh, just kidding."
Yeah, but you also have the automatically stunning that player.
Yeah.
On the very next turn, someone could come over and
stick the dude in
out of the game, right? So coaches who don't bring an orc team to Oktoberfest are also going to have something. Yeah, it's kind of like a something, but it's not as good as playing an orc team.
It's the consolation prize.
What's that? Yeah, it is a orc poor very bad consolation prize. So if you have players in the KO box and you go to roll them in and they don't roll to come in, you can choose to bring them back through some of the Bloodweiser. it's tainted. So you roll a d6, and there are disadvantages to bringing that player back, but at least you can bring the player back.
Okay.
The orcs are all about getting casualties in this match, and they want to crush as many skulls as possible. So they don't care if these players come back from the KO. On a roll of 6, on a 1, you get a boneheaded trait. On 2, it's a really stupid. 3, it's a -1 armor. 4, it's a -1 movement. 5, it's a -1 agility. And 6, it's a -1 strength. And those will stack. So if you get a player who goes out into the KO, doesn't make the roll to come back in, and you choose to bring them back in with one of these detriments, and then that same player gets KO'd again, so he already has the -1 armor, you roll again. So you could possibly bring him back again with a -1 armor and a -1 movement.
Sounds
but it'll keep giving you bodies on the pitch. But dead is dead. Let's see, what else is there? The points. Chris Nelson brought, and I'm pretty fair, and I if things aren't always set in stone, and if somebody brings up a valid point, even if it's not exactly how I envisioned it to be, I do listen. So Chris Nelson brought up a point about there being bonuses for pitch clearing and kills. So not only are we tracking casualties, but we're also tracking the kills. And I had it that the bonus was a little high. So I adjusted it that it is a +1 bonus point for a pitch clear and a +1 bonus point for a kill, as opposed to what it was before, which was higher.
Okay, nice.
So I did adjust that, and I'm going to announce these things. And I'm also going to have a printed out rules pack at the table for all of this as well. So I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah, so I think the swag is good. The prize, so what I'm doing is trophies for all the placement winners, possibly a prize for each of the placement winners. I was going to do a raffle, but I decided to change my mind on that. We're just going to keep it pretty straightforward and simple. The overall tournament champion is going to walk away with the most stuff, but everybody who places most touchdowns, most casualties, stunty cup, all that, they'll walk away with something as well.
Simple is good. Orcs keep it simple, and orcs are good.
Exactly. Go fast. So that is Orktoberfest in a nutshell.
And that is next Saturday, a week from today, at
Get Your Fun On.
Get Your Fun On.
In Melbourne. And it's going to start at 11 and finish when it finishes. So then that is the end of October. Jason's already talked about what we have in the beginning of November, which is the Ancient City Barrel Bash in St. Augustine. And then a week after that, we have a tournament that a lot of people are looking forward to. Chris Nelson's Florida Man Red Solo Cup. This is going to be a crazy tournament. Crazy in terms of the pitch that Maelstrom has done. I've seen it. It is amazing. It is crazy. There are some crazy rules. People are going to have some crazy figures representing the Florida person that they choose to be on their team. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a tournament to remember.
Did he have miniatures made for every single one of those different characters?
No, I think that was something he was thinking about doing, but with the time frame, it wasn't possible.
Sure.
So if you, whatever Florida personality you choose to have on your team, that you will have a corresponding model for basically anything that you can find to represent that model for your team.
Just the weirdest model you can find.
Yes. Let's see, what do we got coming up after that?
I'll be right back. I'm going to get a charger, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay. We have Ken Parks. He has an event coming up the week after that. On Saturday, November 17th at Drop Site Bowl, which, this one to me is kind of the one I know the least about. I've never played at Drop Site. It's a game store that Ken has, started talking to, and they were interested in having a Blood Bowl tournament there. So Ken's kind of been running with this. I don't know anything about the store owners. It's an 11s event, I believe, but this is probably the event that I know the least about.
Okay.
Let me see. I'm looking here now. I believe it's NAF approved already. Standard 11s. Yep. 1.2 team build, 200K. So it's a standard tournament build. Rule set coming soon. NAF approved. I want to say he started dropping some information about the rules and anything special about it. But Drop Site Games is in Orlando. But I want
Which
to
event
say
is this? A drop site?
Drop Site. Yeah, they're in Orlando.
Yeah, it's just a new one up on it's up near downtown. Well, ish.
I want to say they do live streaming stuff there, so I don't know if one of the matches or some of the matches are going to be live streamed.
Yeah, they have a. I've not been myself. There's a few people I know have been. They've got like a little recording room basically with tables set up with recording equipment ready to go.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Chris Nelson also wanted me to mention here that there is a special prize for best painted representation of the Florida Man personality model. So let's see. So we have Drop Site on the 17th. And all this information is on the Florida Blood Bowl Facebook group. Because that's all I'm doing now is just scrolling through the events that we have on there.
That's got to take us to the end of November.
I think so.
Because I know what we have December 1st.
Yes. I'm very much looking forward to December 1st. Well, no, there's another one. So Jason York has another River City 7 Dungeon 7s event November 18th. So it's the day after a Drop Site Bowl. They like to run their events on Sundays up there in Jacksonville. All right, December 1st, that brings us to is so aside from my own Oktoberfest and Crucible, this is probably the one that I've been looking forward to the most. If you know Jim Lanier, Old Man Monkey, then you know what a great guy he is. And ever since Ryan had his tournament in Tampa and Jim came out to play, and we've been talking to him more and more. And one of the things since kind of having a lot of events in Florida, what I've heard from people who played Blood Bowl back in the day before the 2016 re-release, the veterans of the game, is that, hey, Florida had a kick-ass tournament years ago called the Three Kingdoms Challenge. You should somehow try and bring that back. And Jim was very open to it. And he and I, along with Armada Games, are running this December 1st. It is a intro tournament to the real deal. The real deal Three Kingdoms Challenge will be March 2nd and 3rd, I believe, in March of 2019. This is a precursor to that. It's going to use very similar rules, team build, and the winner of this tournament will get free entry into the real deal. The rule pack is going to be released this weekend, and it's going to be a little bit different from what we've seen before in Florida. But the road to the Three Kingdoms Challenge is going to be on Saturday, December 1st at Armada Games in Tampa. I'm debating whether or not I want to go out there on Friday night and get a hotel and kind of just hang out, with Jim and Ryan. I'm sure you're there in Tampa.
I will be.
Yep. So I have a friend who's also south of Tampa in like the boonies areas, and he played Blood Bowl back in the day. And I'm trying to get him to come up for the day to play. I haven't seen him since like high school. And he moved down here to Jacksonville. And when I finally say, hey, you're in Jacksonville, we played Blood Bowl in Jacksonville. He's like, oh, I moved from Jacksonville. Now I'm here. So I would love for my friend Daryl to come out and play some Blood Bowl. So I'm trying to work on that. I'm really looking forward to this event. I mean, there's a lot of history there. This tournament was played. It was one of the first big tournaments in the U.S. There were people from Games Workshop, Andy Hall, who came over to attend this event. I want to say there were 2 or 3 of them that Jim ran before it kind of went away. But it was 15 years ago. 2019 marks the 15-year anniversary of when the original Three Kingdoms Challenge was held. So it couldn't be more fitting that we bring it back to Florida. I mean, Blood Bowl in Florida is obviously very huge. We have over 100 and some coaches who are playing Blood Bowl. According to our tournament series, the Voodoo Tournament Series, we have over 100 coaches that are on there. 100 different coaches who have participated in a Blood Bowl tournament in Florida.
That's crazy.
40 plus Blood Bowl tournaments in 2018.
I don't think I've seen a game explode in an area as much as I've seen Blood Bowl explode in Florida, like in Central Florida at least.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm when I came down here, I didn't know at the time, if I'd be able to find anybody playing Blood Bowl because we had a huge community back in PA. So I couldn't be more ecstatic with the way everything has kind of turned out. And beyond that, the group of friends that we have, like our core group who kind of show up and play at every tournament, it really is like an extension of a family I
Yeah,
look forward to
really
seeing
good group of
everybody.
guys.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Three Kingdoms Challenge. After that, Saturday, December 8th, is Jason's big River City Dungeon Bowl. So this isn't like the small Sunday ones he's running. This is a big. What did he say? This is a 4-round Dungeon Sevens.
I thought he said 6.
I'm pretty sure he said 6 rounds.
I'm looking at it now. Let's see. Yeah, but this is the one that he's been basically running the smaller ones that kind of give people some experience playing. But this is the biggie. And I am definitely going to make it out there for this one. So let's see. Oh my God, there's so much opportunity for prizes here in swag.
Is that one on a Sunday as well?
No, this is a Saturday, and this is not at Borderlands. This is at Cool Stuff Games.
Okay.
I want to say it's got more room. So yeah, Jason's planning a big event for this. He definitely got a lot of prize support. He got a lot of good stuff here. Going through and looking at everything.
That might be a hotel trip.
I'm looking for the rules. I don't think he had it as a pinned post, so I can't see it. I'm probably making him he's probably his NyQuil's going into full effect, and he's like, you bastards. It's right there. All right, it is NAF approved. It is supported by the Bonehead podcast, which that's one of the ones I actually haven't listened to. Old Castle Creations, Blue Wyvern, Frankie's Lab, Two Drunk Flings. So yes, our podcast is supporting that. Die Hard Dice. Dear God, Versatile Terrain. These are just some of the vendors who have backed this tournament for Jason. Swag Dice, supplied by Caro Dice. Old Castle Creations, that's a picture. There's the picture of the diehards of Hungry Troll. Ironheart Artisans. Impact Miniatures. He's even got some promotional items. He got pens for the event. Oh my God.
So there's literally no other Blood Bowl products left for anybody else in the world once this thing happens.
Apparently. Yeah, Jason just said, fuck it, I want all the Blood Bowl stuff for this event. Give it to me. Oh, Blue Wyvern does the skill bands. All right, maybe he put it under his about. Yep, there we go. Okay. 700K team build, no skills. There are tiered skills for the pickings, it looks like. Resurrection style, yep, 6 rounds. Using the same dungeon template.
Because, who gets out of bed for 4 rounds? Come on now.
I know, right? Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Talking to some of the coaches who attended his first Dungeon Sevens on the Sunday, they said that it was a lot of fun. They had a great time playing the event.
So on a slightly different topic, you mentioned Two Drunk Flings for a second there. How's that going with you on the podcast?
Good. They released the kind of intro for me joining the podcast not too long ago. And they're going to be releasing soon the first full episode with me on there.
Nice.
Since then, they've added, I think they're building some form of super team or super podcast team. I don't know. It's interesting. They got, God, I can't think of his name. Is it Johnny Wilkinson? I got to look it up. From Australia. They added Mark Perry from Vegas to the podcast.
I saw that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, they're they're building an all-star team apparently.
Podcast domination right there.
That's not a bad thing though, because we may not always get the same people who could participate during a podcast. So instead of having them on as guests, that they're looking to kind of add permanent people to the roster.
Nice.
They're looking to win Pod Bowl.
Oh, is that what it is?
I don't know.
Could be.
Is Pod Bowl a thing?
It was. I don't know. Basically, I think Anything But a One organized it. But basically, it was all the different podcasts. They were playing each other in whatchamacallit, in a league, and then I think it was ending with a tournament or something like that. Or maybe it was just a tournament. But yeah, it was a lot of the big podcasts were playing, and they were playing via Fumble.
Sounds awesome.
I remember that, yeah. They did at Chaos Cup, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, they had the they had like a challenge to see who the best podcast was, and Jeremy from the Siggy Llama show ended up coming out on top of that. And I was laughing because he would add that into his intro for an episode or two afterwards. The reigning podcast champion. It was pretty funny.
Why not?
Absolutely.
So, Ryan, have you got any plans for any future events yourself?
Not at the moment. I'm just looking. I figure at some point, especially with Three Kingdoms Challenge, I will probably get dragged into helping with that because I live locally. So I'm kind of preparing myself for that.
Wise. See, now you've offered now. James is going to jump on that.
I've offered before.
He's like, you said it now.
I'm here. Like, I can definitely make arrangements. So.
And I think, so yeah, the other thing I want to talk about while we still have some time, because it's already going for 11 o'clock, and I won't even get into anything for 2019 other than the Three Kingdoms Challenge because we're doing the precursor event. But the last thing I do want to talk about for December, and this is very cool and something that I've been trying to plan for a while. So, yeah, like Liam had said, Florida kind of blew up this year with Blood Bowl. And, we have our Voodoo tournament series. And the way that's going to be is going to be a little bit different next year. I think a lot of the tournaments are going to be different next year in terms of, spacing them apart, overall quantity of tournaments, maybe the prize and swag structure. Everything I think is going to be different next year. But I wanted to acknowledge 2018 and start a trend where at the end of the season, the end of the tournament season, we kind of have like a party / award ceremony / event. So, we've been collecting money from all the tournament organizers throughout the year, $10, for people who want their events to count towards the tournament series. And it also, pulls the money together to do awards and prizes at the end of the season. And Ryan's done really well with that. I mean, he's kind of been the treasurer with that and coming up with some great ideas as far as like raffles, like the puzzle board pitch that we did for our Crucible that came from FF Fields turned out to be a good,
people fell in love with that thing.
Yeah, Howard ended up walking away with that. So he bought one of the pitches from Maelstrom. He ended up winning the puzzle pitch. And he dropped money on patches and a bunch of other stuff. So I really appreciate Howard, kind of donating to the cause. And I'm happy for him that he won that puzzle pitch.
And I was able to use my silver tongue to sell a mat to someone from Tennessee.
Oh yeah, that guy emailed me. I have to get back to him. Like he's talking about, where could he get certain things from? He was asking about help with setting up a tournament. I might have to put him in touch with Roscoe Piercy, who ran the Great Smoky Mountain Bowl, because they're both in Tennessee. So yeah, obviously with Tennessee being in the Voodoo tournament series, I want to help him get set up with a tournament up that way, and include those guys in our mix.
Oh, trip.
Chris also he wants me to mention something. Don't let me forget about the Florida Man tournament. But so yes, we started making plans to do an end of season awards thing, and thinking about it, I thought it'd be cool to have it at like the hotel where we have the Crucible. There was talk about it being at a game store. There was talk about it being at maybe like a veterans or like Moose Lodge Club or something like that. And in the end, I'm sitting there thinking about it, and it's like I don't want to take any of that money that we have set aside and pay for a venue. So I had an idea, and I asked Eric if we can possibly do it at Fort Nyberger, and he was like, dude, absolutely. Like he was so receptive to the idea. Like it's like I didn't even need to ask, and I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. So we're kind of working on a date as to when it's going to be, and I would love to see the most amount of people show up to this thing, because we're going to have. First, I was talking about it being like catered, then possibly a potluck. Now Eric's talking maybe we're going to barbecue. So there's going to be food. There's going to be alcoholic beverages. There's going to be a tournament, probably the Cthulhu Christmas with Cthulhu. We'll do like a short 3-round event. There's going to be an award ceremony. There's going to be awards. There's going to be prizes. One of the things that I thought about doing is I want to recognize all the coaches who have, completed their 24/26. As far as the NAF goes, they get a patch, and if they're lucky, they get a set of dice. There are dice out there that Mark Perry had made for this. Some people got them, some people didn't. But one of the things I wanted to do was acknowledge this achievement. We're going to have the Voodoo Tournament Series winners. There is a prize from the NAF for first, second, and stunty. They're pins. So I want to make sure I have those and get them on hand so that we can actually give them out. We have a pool of money now for the Voodoo Tournament Series that we've collected. So our group here, or whoever wants to volunteer, I would love to see, whether through Armada Games does trophies that you guys have seen. They did the Crucible trophies. Jack from Maelstrom does trophies. We could get trophies from like trophy kits or crown awards. I want to get something and award trophies out to people. Those categories, I don't really care what they are, but I just want to recognize achievements. Eric and I also have some surprises in store. It's going to be a fun thing, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to, having everybody together and, celebrating Blood Bowl in Florida, celebrating everybody's achievements, and do this every year.
For sure. I think it's a great idea, personally. I mean, it's blown up, and like you said, everyone's almost like family now, and kind of like just tip off. I mean, this year's kind of kicked it all off, but I think it's only going to get better and better every year. So
I agree.
Having a way to celebrate it sounds awesome.
Yes, I'm very looking forward to just having everybody in one spot and just kind of hanging out and doing what we do. Every time we get together, it's always a good time.
Sure.
Whether we go out to dinner after an event or staying in the hotel, it was cool. Everybody coming back to my room and just kind of chilling, talking, hanging out. I'm looking forward to this, and it's very cool of Eric to offer up his house to host us.
Very brave, one might say.
He throws quite a few parties from what I see.
Okay, all right.
Some of them are rugby players. Some of them. So I think we're probably going to be the least rowdy bunch out of his friends. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Challenge accepted.
But yeah, Chris Nelson, Florida Man, wanted me to kind of just let people know what the Florida Man Red Solo Cup tournament has to offer as far as prizes goes. So just like Jason's event, I mean, there's going to be a lot of stuff here. It looks like he's got 2 tickets to Universal that were donated from Ken Parks, a $100 gift certificate from Reaper Miniatures, some second edition Blood Bowl magazines. There are 5 Blood Bowl teams up for grabs. Green Stuff World Rollers. I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds neat.
Those are badass. Yeah, Jim, I told you about these. Remember, they're textured rollers.
Yep.
And you make bases out of them. They're really cool.
Now yeah, those things are awesome. They work really well.
Let's see what out of the teams that are up, 3 teams are from Impact, 1 American Indian Human Amazon team from War Games Factory, a Unicorn team, and a donation team. Makes 6 actually, he says. So he has got quite a bit of prize support for his event as well. 2 of them are Celtic and Cobblestone.
Is one of the prizes a live gator?
I was told I'm not allowed to say. We may not have all the necessary permits, but he's probably going to do it anyway. There's at least 1 bag of bath salts.
Nice. All
yes.
Right.
And that particular bag will turn you into a flesh-eating zombie where you'll eat somebody's face off.
Sounds like a perfect Florida night out.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, that's I'm really pumped about this award ceremony thing. So we got to start figuring out what awards, where we're going to get them from, how we're going to do it. I don't know. I'm excited. Like, we have a decent sized budget. Ryan, you did a great job of keeping that going and organizing it and managing it.
I do what I do. Most people have been great. I'm talking. Well, everyone's been great. So it didn't take much prodding on most. Most people paid ahead of time. So thanks to the group, and people have been very generous on the different raffles that I've run to add money into the pot. So we probably added maybe a third of our total pot might be just from raffles and stuff like that.
Cool. We'll have to keep that in mind for next year.
Yeah, the raffles seem to go down really well towards. I know it was one of those things that came in towards the end of the year, but I don't think there was ever an event where it did badly.
So,
No.
and we're still got what we got 2 tournaments left this month, right? 4 tournaments in November and maybe 2 or 3 tournaments in December. That's almost $100 right there worth of. So we still have, more money that's going to be coming in before the end of the year.
Nice.
So,
I think we'll probably do a raffle item at the award ceremony. Like,
yeah.
I definitely think that we should do awards. But one of the things that people, I wouldn't say it's a complaint, but because it is what it is, and it was our first year running it, and it's going to be different next year. But one of the observations that people had is like, wow, by the time I get involved in playing Blood Bowl, I can't even compete. These people, I've run away with it, and it's really between these 5 people. So yeah, I understand and I get that, and there's definitely going to be some awards, for people who place but as far as prizes go, I would love to see a nice raffle thing that anybody could win, who either participated in the tournament series, like maybe attended X amount of matches, or at least has a minimum of like 10 points, something like that, to qualify, or definitely people who come to the award ceremony party.
Well, I think what we could do, and we've talked about doing this before, and I think it would be a good idea, is to host a Voodoo-wide, not just Florida, but Voodoo-wide raffle. So get something really cool. We got to find something really cool, and we can sell to raise money for our final event. We can do a thing. So if you're out in Tennessee, you can buy a ticket, and we'll live stream it, or we'll put it on Facebook Live as we do the drawing. So and do that. I think that would be a good idea.
I like it.
It's got to be a prize worth owning, though.
Well, with all the different Kickstarters out there and stuff, I mean, there's so much stuff. I'm sure we could find something.
I'll like I said, I'm going over to, I was sure, as I said in the group chat the other day, I'm going over to England soon, so I'll grab some things from Warhammer World as well, some Blood Bowl exclusive stuff there. They've got like shirts and mugs and stuff like that, so I can bring some of that stuff back and add that to the pot.
Are you going to have the ogre breakfast or something like that? Don't they have that there?
They do, yeah. I tried it the first time I went. That thing is brutal.
I think it's gigantic.
Ridiculously brutal.
I gotta look that up so we can inform people. Warhammer World breakfast.
Bugman's.
Warhammer World's got a restaurant in it. I didn't know that until relatively recently.
Yeah, Bugman's Bar. It's great. I mean, you see a lot of people actually, obviously, because their main gaming space is like regular boards for 40k, Age of Sigmar, stuff like that. You see a lot of people playing Blood Bowl and stuff in Bugman's.
I'm actually going to link this into the event for the AMA so that people can see it. I'm sure most are familiar with it, but there may be a few who have not heard of this. So, holy God. So there's 2 different things they have on the menu. The Ogre Burger Challenge, Bob Bifford's Ogre Burger Challenge. Let's see, it's 2 12-ounce burgers topped with pulled beef, mozzarella cheese served with 12 onion rings and chips for $20. You know what? I'm looking at it. That doesn't seem to scare me any. Now, the Ogre Breakfast, on the other hand, 5 sausages, 5 slices of bacon, 4 eggs, 4 hash browns, 2 slices of fried bread, 4 slices of toast served with mushrooms and baked beans and black pudding. And it's less money than the burger. For 16, I'm sorry, not US dollars, but obviously 16 pounds. But oh my God, that is like a lot more food for less, and I would fear that.
I think I made it about halfway through. I mean, I was younger then, but I made it about halfway through. I think I was like, yeah, no, this is roll me back out to the gaming area, please, because I'm done.
Wow, that is a lot of food.
Are you
down with a Bugman's 5X or whatever it is they got there? It's all good.
Are you taking the little one across the pond with you?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to go very, very well or very, very badly.
I'm gonna be pro for you, man. It's gonna go well.
Yes, I'm gonna say it's gonna go well for you as well.
We'll see. I mean, we put in for a special seat with like a little travel cot and stuff, but for some reason they say you don't know until the day of the flight if you've got it or not. Oh. So that'll be a nervous moment.
Chris says good luck.
Thanks, Chris.
So yeah, there is a lot of cool Blood Bowl stuff. The T-shirts, which I know you cannot get here anywhere.
Nope.
Mugs are awesome. I may have to have you bring me back a mug. I had one and I sold it before Moracle because I wasn't drinking out of it and it was just sitting there. But then I had like seller's remorse after I sold it. I'm like, why did I sell it?
You never have too many novelty mugs. That's the way I look at it.
Well, it's killing me because when I was on a one of those work trips that I missed Blood Bowl tournament, I was out in Ohio,
Mhm.
and it was a Sunday before I was coming back, and I'm like, how close am I to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And I was only 40 minutes away, so I went, and that was a dream come true for me. I'm a huge music fan, and I absolutely love. I've wanted to go there for I don't know how many years, and I got to go. And I probably spent an hour in the gift shop picking out stuff for my wife and kids. And my kids were easy. T-shirts made them happy. I got myself like a patch and I don't know, some pins, like nothing major. And my wife, like, she doesn't like T-shirts, so I thought she loves coffee. So I got her an awesome Rock and Roll Hall of Fame coffee mug. It's huge, and she hasn't used it once. It's sitting in the cupboard, and she's probably never going to use it. So I was just going to give her $20 cash and be like, I'm taking the mug back. I'm going to use it because it kills me knowing that it's sitting up there. But yeah, glassware seems to be a thing for Oktoberfest. I've done the pint glasses before. This year I did shot glasses. Next year are going to be steins for the fifth one, and which may be the last one. I plan on going all out. There is a I have my plans already for next year, and I was actually going to ask the powers that be, which is you two guys on the phone, to consider the possibility of me running Oktoberfest as the 2-day Blood Bowl event for next year's Crucible.
I certainly have no issue with that.
Because I would love to see Oktoberfest as a 2-day to finish it out.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do that as your last one, especially, go out with a bang.
Yeah, and I was thinking that it's obviously, speaking from experience this year, that doing Crucible and then this event right after was very challenging for me.
Mm-hmm.
There was just a lot of moving parts to kind of keep afloat. So
Sure.
if I was able to make that the 2-day event, I think for me personally, I would like that. And I think it would be a rather fitting way for it to go out. I don't know, like, I like running Oktoberfest, but there's, I think my future in terms of Blood Bowl is going to be going to more events where other people are the TOs and traveling outside of Florida more. Like next year, I plan on doing 2 outside of the state event, like trips. One definitely being Sin City Bowl in Vegas, and the other one, I'm not sure, but I know the year after is going to be a Moracle Cup, and it's probably going to be in Canada. And I want to put together a team Florida and go. And that's awesome. Going to be, yes, it would be awesome. And I think I could easily put together a team from Florida to go and participate in this. But that's going to be a costly trip, and it's going to be a big trip. So I if I only get to do 1 in 2020, it'll be that. If I get to do 2, it'll be that in Oktoberfest, unless the Three Kingdoms Challenge becomes, not Oktoberfest, Oklahoma. If Three Kingdoms Challenge does well this year, or 2019, and becomes a yearly thing, I'm either going to have to miss a year or move it so that I can do Oklahoma, because they always do it in March, and I really want to do that event. Not only do I really want to do that event, but I really want to do it as an RV road trip, because I just think, 12 guys on an RV trip going to play Blood Bowl several states away, just how could that go wrong?
I feel like that's a good premise for a movie.
Maybe we could film it. That'd be fun.
Live stream it.
There you go. I was thinking of a mobile Blood Bowl tournament too. Who knows?
Oh.
Bring Ziplocs and hours of candy, Chris says, for your trip back home.
The RV Bowl.
I mean, quite honestly, if anyone's deserved a bit of a break from TOing and just kind of going out and enjoying playing some Blood Bowl for themselves, it's you. Honestly, the way you've kickstarted Florida Blood Bowl this year and lit the fire in so many other TOs, it's like
yeah, that's what makes me happy. I don't have to twist anybody's arm to run an event. This year being obviously everyone wanted to run something. Everybody wanted to step up and run.
Yeah.
And I don't see that changing. I think everybody, like Clay already has an event set for next year at Big Daddy's. It's the 2 million team build. I forget what's the name of it. Let me see if I can find the name of it. But yeah, he has that scheduled for some time. I have 2 events, small events that I'm running. One is the Sin City Sevens, that for when Mark comes from Vegas over to Florida for his vacation.
Oh yeah, first one.
And that's just going to be a small variant event, obviously. And then I have Friday the 13th, the Graveyard Cup again, and that's actually going to be on Friday the 13th. I already have that on the books. Let me see, when is that? Friday the 13th, Graveyard Cup 2 at Sci-Fi City, and that is on Friday, September 13th. Friday the 13th. Clay's is Big Daddy's All-Star Cup, which he's already halfway through getting all the stuff together for that. So he's really excited about that.
Oh, wow.
That's May 11th, and that is a 2 million team build, I think.
I don't know how much I'd spend like 200 mil. That's so much money. I mean, this is coming from a goblin standpoint. Like, can I have a roster bigger than 16?
Oh my god! Yeah, bribes out the wazoo. No one's leaving the pitch ever.
No, pretty much. You got this chainsaw all game. Deal with it.
And I know I said I wasn't going to talk about 2019, but yeah, Jason Carter already has one in January, the house on Black Bark Ridge, which is BB7s. I like the theme. There's a Hooky Ball 6 that Ken is kind of taking over the Hooky Ball stuff. He's doing Demolition Ogre based off of Demolition Man.
Nice.
Then he's got his Loser Bowl 2, Revenge of the Failures, and I'm running the Sin City Sevens right after that event. So wherever he has that event, he doesn't have a venue yet. We're going to do Sin City Sevens right after it. I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere in Orlando, because with Mark flying into Orlando that day, he'll have time to come, 7:30 to make that variant event.
Right, so you're going to 2 events on the same day?
Yeah.
Woo.
It's the only way that Mark could really attend the event here, because like he's here on his, I want to say it's his anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be in Florida, and then he's going to Bermuda or no, the Bahamas. But he's got like excursions all set up, so he doesn't really, have a shit ton of time.
Sure, that'll be fun.
Yeah, but as far as like me running events, next year, those are the only 2. So if I did Oktoberfest for Crucible, that would be good for me again, and nothing's set in stone. I'm just kind of throwing it out there as an idea that I think it would be a good placement for the 2-day. It'd be good for me to get it on the same weekend as Crucible, so I wouldn't have to run 2 events, because I did want to run 5, and this would be the 5th one.
Yeah,
so, and possibly Hooky Bowl I might do whatchamacallit, only because of the announcement recently from what's his name, the director,
Nate
John Carpenter.
Yeah, that there's the possibility of them doing a They Live sequel, which I don't
Oh,
want them to do. Obviously Roddy Piper's passed away. But when I saw that announcement, I'm like, yeah, running that, as a sequel event would be fun. So I had no intention on doing it until I saw that, and then I thought about it.
Forced my hand.
Yeah, damn you, John Carpenter. So what else we got? I mean, it's already 11:15. Do we have anything else we want to talk about before we kind of call it a night?
I think pretty much covered everything. Like I said, it's been a good year.
It's been a great year. I can't
I've
believe
just
we're already
noticed.
almost in November.
I know, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I've just, as a random real last sort of thing, I've just been putting together these goblins from the Underworld set. And one of these models here, he's getting double used as a coach because he's got like a brand going, which he uses to brand the squigs. He's got like a mushroom sticking out of his mouth and stuff like a cigar. And this guy is just going to make a perfect Blood Bowl coach. And I've only just now seen it. So that's just a little random thought at the end there.
See, double use. Double use.
Perfect. Brand some goblins when they don't score touchdowns. There'll be a lot of branded goblins. Or if he's brave enough to trolls.
I just saw a picture of Doombeard Dave. They're playing Bosom Bowl 3 at the Bearded Bird Brewing Company, Norfolk, Virginia. Mike Clancy just posted his first match was against Doombeard Dave.
There seems to be a lot of Blood Bowl and breweries mix up going on at the moment, which is not a bad thing at all. I mean, 100% for that.
Yeah, we talked about that a few times, like with the Two Drunk Flings podcast. Listening to them talk, a lot of those guys, they play their events at breweries and stuff, and they were quite shocked to find out that we don't. That we, typically kind of play in a game store and stuff.
I'd say we're a finer class, but that would be a lie.
I enjoyed actually, having some adult beverages while we were playing. So I'm really looking forward to the Ancient City Barrel Bash.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to try and get that. I mean, it's a long shot. Obviously, we're just having the baby. I don't want to, I abandoned Chelsea pretty much for 2 days for Crucible. I don't want to run away again, but something I'm definitely interested in trying to attend.
Yeah, a lot of good events coming up between now and the end of the year.
As always, yeah. And as for 2019, like I said, I'm going to start getting work on another Pirates thing. I'm going to try and make that a yearly thing. So,
cool, because I definitely need to make the next one. I'm so bummed
yeah,
I missed that one.
As many crazy ideas as I can come up with. If anybody else has got a crazy idea they think would fit the theme pretty well, hit me up and I'll see what I can do.
I took so much time in putting that team together.
I was genuinely upset for you. When you called me, I was like genuinely upset. Just for how perfect that team was going to be.
Oh, it was awesome. Oh, you saw the meme that I made with the pirate Minotaur? He was the captain of my team.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Next one for sure.
Yes, definitely. All right. Unless anybody has any other things to add, I say we wrap it up.
Sounds good to me.
That's a 2-hour AMA there.
It's gone crazy quick.
Okay.
Well, thank you for hosting it on the weekend, and finally I can contribute to one. It's been cool.
Yay! You did it.
Yay!
We did.
Awesome. All right. Well, hopefully the next one won't take so long. So I think we'll have to do one, sometime in November.
I mean, after Oktoberfest and stuff, recap all that. We'll have plenty more to talk about.
Agreed. All right, gents. Well, you guys have a good night, and
you too, sir.
I will talk.
What is it? Real quick before we go, what is it? I want to talk to both of y'all after we're off air for just 2 seconds. So.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, we'll stay on. To the rest of the world, have a good evening, and thanks for listening. And hopefully, we'll see you all soon.
All right.
Bye.
Night.